And now you are listening to STM Podcast.
Hey everyone, welcome to the STM podcast. You're listening now to the STM podcast. I am here with my friend Joshua, who I'm going to be interviewing today in our STM podcast. How are you, Joshua?
Doing very well.
Okay, Joshua. Um, so today we're gonna give you like your first interview on the STM podcast. Hopefully we're gonna have a good time right here. So it's about we're gonna talk about you. You know how to draw art and those kind of things. Like I've seen before your drawings, Instagram and everything. You post them, and they're very beautiful. So we're gonna share them here today. So the first question, Joshua, I'm gonna give you is question number one. How do you learn to draw your own art?
Um, that kind of goes a little bit while back. And first and foremost, let me say I'm thankful and grateful to invited me onto this podcast. This is a wonderful experience, and I just wanted to say that first. And going back to the question, um, how did I learn how to draw? Well, when I was younger, my family and I weren't financially stable, so I always used to ask my dad to draw me. Like one of my favorite characters was Batman. So I always draw me like Batman pictures and out of cardboard so I could play with. And I think when I got to the same age, I used to watch comics and I always wanted that Batman to be drawn in a certain type of way. Kind of in a way outgrew my dad. I was like, well, I wanted to look that way. It's not looking like that. So and it just started with me like Batman pictures and went cardboard back toys for myself. That's kind of how it all started.
Okay. So it was about, you got inspired by, drawing Batman, those kind of things, like that's good. So I'm also a big fan of Batman, you know that. And we talk about Batman. So many of people should know that you're, in this channel and stuff. So, also a big fan of Batman, but now that you're a big fan of Batman. Okay. But that's good, bro. So very good inspiration. So now I'm gonna ask you question number two. What was your first impression when you finally learned to draw?
My impression. Yeah. So when you mean impression, like my 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 mindset or my experience, so it was my mindset.
Yeah, like your impression, like your first impression when you like, learn how to draw. You were like, wow, like this is so good. No way, I finally did it.
Actually, it was actually a shock to me, and I felt like it was concept of like after a while, your brain kind of gets used to the kind of value life you value it, right? Until the first time I ever like, really saw that work after I finished one of my first portraits over it. But after I made it, I showed it to my family. They were just shocked that my gosh, it's so. And that was like kind of like, oh my gosh, like that. I was happy, and I was like, it surprised me how far.
Okay. All right. That's good. Um, Now moving on to the question number three. How do you feel when you draw your own creation that you feel that was your own masterpiece draw?
When I'm creating my own picture, the map, the piece itself satisfies me. But really, what satisfies me the most is the down thought about it. So before I ever started or a concept design or a character design, is real for that, not just portrait drawings. Um, when I have a concept in my head of how a character could look like, it satisfies me because like getting that kind of just that thought, that idea, finally putting it on paper where it's like it finally becomes reality. So that's like my favorite portion doing designs. Like what used to be a thought now becomes reality. And that's the best thing I feel like about art that you could bring out like your inner deepest thoughts and become something formed, like just out of this world.
Okay, that's very interesting. That's good. That's good to know. We're moving on to question number four. What do you enjoy the most about drawing so much?
Okay. It kind of goes along the last question, where it's just seeing that comment. So I give an example, and it's gonna be pretty short. Like when I have a concept design for a character, and I work throughout the whole process to go through it, that I finally do it, and then I can look back and see the finished product. It really kind of not shocks. It kind of shocks me. It kind of wows me out because I have thoughts. Um, I have a picture I draw. I'm gonna keep this brief. I have a picture I drawn of like a Red Robin kind of character. I just wanted to do a redesign because his previous costumes kind of sucked. And when I finally got to the end of that process, I was so happy. It's like, oh my gosh, like, everything came together like how I thought, but even better. So I feel like it's the process and then the outcome of the drawing to see like how you got it. That's what I do.
Okay, nice, bro. Oh, so now we're moving on to question number five. What materials do you use most for your drawings?
Usually I use depends on the medium. So if I use digital, I usually use Procreate, uh, Clip Studio, or Photoshop. But if it's like physical or just pen and paper, I usually try to use regular charcoal pencil, regular kind of like usually like drawing pencils and stuff like that, like smudging stick all the array of, items you can get. So it's that for doing portraits.
All right. So now moving to question number 6. What inspires you to draw?
When it inspires me to draw,
Yeah.
yeah, and I feel like this will connect a lot with a lot of your listeners. And I feel like just to inspire them with this is, I feel like everyone has storytelling inside, and every single person has a, a part that they could bring to this world. And what inspires me to draw is that concept, that idea. Sometimes it's birthed from a simple concept idea for two characters talking, but during that small little flow, it can create something great. Uh, and I believe that's one of my favorite parts about drawing because you can make a world that never saw the light of day, no one knows about, and it can come to life. And it could be something that could be life changing for people. You know?
Yeah, I get you, bro. I understand. We all have a story, like we all have a story. I mean, I already told to everybody like my story right here, and everybody knows, they know everything. I mean, I remember like since you're talking about art, I remember my music career, like I aspire like for a lot of musician artists. So we all get inspired, by different artists and those kind of things. That's good, that's really good. So now we're going with this is the final question.
Yeah.
What do you recommend to people who are learning how to draw? Like, people who are starting right now to draw and those kind of things, like your recommendations.
Um, just a pencil. Well, try like I feel like to a point that a lot of people look at my art and say that I just have a gift or I have a gift for this and I was born with it. Yeah, some people can have an eye. But my encouragement is don't look at like have inspiration. Have people inspire you, right? But don't idolize them to a point that you belittle your own process. So see them, see what they're good at, and focus on yourself. So, and just know that you're not what this isn't a marathon. This isn't a race for a marathon. You're walking. You're taking that every single step of your process. And don't devalue any process you take. So when I first started, I used to suck really bad at drawing Batman. But at the time when the sequences, I mean, keep practicing, then I became good at it. So my encouragement is keep going. Pick up the pencil and draw something. And don't look at other people as, oh man, they're a better artist than you. They just have talent and I don't. Know that you're as special as anybody else. Just really work hard on it and just little portions each day. You will be a great artist. It just takes time.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, like, and also don't give up, like, don't give up. Like, you have a heart, you always have to just, keep moving on with that heart, like, never give up. Like, that's like one of the most important things in life, like, not give up. So, yeah, like, Joshua, I appreciate you for having you, this podcast. I appreciate all your time and thank you for being in this podcast, bro. Have a good day.
Thank you for having. Thank you for having.
Oh, you're welcome.